What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be building a workbench for our new garage. Well, my new garage, not ours. Just hired a lot of free help. All you're going to need for this project is 6 or 7 2x4s, 2 4x4s, some 2.5-inch screws, 1 1/4 screws, and a few other miscellaneous items. And let's get into it. When it's done, it should look like this. Then you can make something like this. Let's get to it. Some of the other tools that we got for today's project are going to be 3 clamps. These are just the squeeze type. I picked up a orbital sander just to kind of sand the corners and stuff. I'm going to use it on another project, so I picked it up now. I got a long ruler. You know what that's for. And then I got a corner clamp. We'll see how it works. This was the cheapest one they have, so I don't have too high expectations. The other things I'll be using a drill and this circular saw right here. That's kind of why I've created this workbench idea. I mainly wanted to use these tools in order to build a workbench that's going to go from the end of that shelf to probably right there on the windowsill. Should be 7 foot long by 2 foot. Let's get into it. You're also going to need a plywood top, but I'll show you why I haven't got that yet here in a few. All my followers who follow me for SSR videos, update coming with this guy. I got some new levers I'm going to be putting on here real soon, so probably do a video on those. It's going to require a little bit of grinding, but I'll show you where I got 2 folding levers for $11 and how we can make it work with your SSR. Alrighty guys, I'm going to go ahead and start with cutting the 2x4s. It's just easier to get all the pieces cut. I'll include the cut list and the actual build and instructions that I'm using in the description. I found it off of another YouTube channel, so I figured, yeah, might as well just record it. If it's worth doing, it's worth recording, because maybe you'll say something that the other guy didn't, and it'll spark interest in somebody else. So we're going to go ahead and cut the 2x4s, and I'll put what cut I'm doing on the screen, just so you guys can follow along. I used 2 scrap pieces of 2x4, and I set my other 2x4 against it, just so I have, you know, something to cut with, because when this thing is all the way down, it doesn't reach the floor. So little helpful hint, because obviously you're not working with a workbench yet. I went ahead and squared off the edge of this, and then we're going to go ahead and measure this. Mine's going to be 7 foot long, so that's what I'm going to measure mine to. Alright guys, so the next thing I'm going to cut is going to be how far the table comes off the wall. So I want mine to be about 2.5 feet, give or take. So I think I'm going to cut this one to 27 or 28 inches because this is going to butt up against the other 2x4 that goes longwise. So that's another almost 2 inches, because they're not exactly 2 inches thick. So that's what I'll be cutting now, and you'll need 2 of those pieces as well. Alright, so now we have our 2 26-inch pieces. Alright guys, so what we're going to be doing here, I've kind of makeshifted the top of the bench to kind of see how it's going to sit out. Now what I'm going to do is measure the distance between the insides of these 2x4s and use them so I could put the support lats for the top of the bench. So I'm just going to measure out how the distance, so 26 inches over here, and it better be the same over here. And 26 inches over here as well. So we're going to go ahead and cut those. I believe it should be one for every 18 inches. So 1, 2. So we're going to need a few of them. I don't know if I'll put them every 18 inches, maybe every 20 inches. Alrighty, so I went ahead and cut the first one to 26 inches. So now I'm just going to double check to make sure that's what it is. I would prefer them to be a little longer than too short, because I can always trim them down, but I can't make them longer. So I'm going to go ahead and measure up this next one. Do the same thing, 26 inches. Make sure my 26-inch ones are the exact same size, which they are. That's good. Probably just going to run 3. Yeah, probably just going to run 3. Alright guys, now that we've got the top supports already all cut and the supporting lats for the tabletop, now we're going to go ahead and do the legs. This is one 4x4, and I'm not sure if I'm going to put casters on this guy or not yet. I guess it kind of depends on how square it is. If it's not very square and the table kind of wobbles, I'd rather just shim it and not be able to move it. But I think for me, 35 inches is going to be a roughly a good height. And then if I put a 4-inch caster on there, it's going to take it to about 40 inches and kind of make it mid-waist stomach area when it's all done. So now I got one 4x4. I'm going to cut it at 35 inches. Being it's a little thicker and my saw will not go all the way through it, this is going to require 2 cuts. Unless you have a miter saw, then it'll go ahead and I would use the miter saw. But I don't have one of those yet. But hopefully after I get this workbench made, I'll have room for a miter saw. So. There it is. Alright, so I got most of the pieces cut for the top and bottom. I don't have bottom supports cut yet, or the bottom trim to place the shelf on yet. I do still have some leftover wood, so I'm going to go ahead and start assembling the legs to the top supports and the frame itself, and try and get a feel for what this thing's going to look like. Alright, so now that I have it all clamped together, I'm going to go ahead and test it for squareness and make sure it's all squared and good to go, and then I might start drilling some holes, so that might be what you see in the next scene. Alright, so we have the whole top brace on with the legs. Now we're going to go ahead and put our support beams in. So when we put our top in, it doesn't sag because it's going to be a particle board top. I got a new helper now. You might have seen him in the Predator unboxing. If you haven't seen that unboxing, click right here. And I don't have anything with the other guy that was helping me this morning, but yeah. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and put those inside support pieces. We're going to put them every 20 inches because this is 81 inches long from this inside post, so that spaces them out pretty evenly. This doesn't have to be exact.
Whoa! God damn.
You good?
Yeah.
Alrighty guys, so we got the legs on, the outside supports, and the inside supports. Now, feeling pretty sturdy for the most part. It's going to feel even more sturdy when we put those bottom leg supports. And then I'll show you how to do that right now, technically tomorrow. But yeah, so see you guys in the next one. Alright guys, day 2 of the build. We have the outside supports, inside supports like I just said. Now we're going to work on the bottom braces for the shelf. We're going to do something a little different than what most people do. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and measure 26 inches because that's the distance between these top 2 posts. We're going to go ahead and make the side supports right now. So we're going to measure out 26 inches and then cut it up. That's what you're going to be seeing. So we measure the distance between the 2 widest points up top where the legs don't bow, and then we're going to go ahead and pull the legs and make everything square. So we're just going to cut that now. Alright, so we used a clamp, measured up 12 inches because that's the height that I want my shelf. We clamped one side, we're going to hold one side, and pre-drill and put the screws in. Alright, I'm going to throw a couple more screws in here where this beam comes across. So far we're looking pretty level according to the iPhone, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, so on this we're going to measure out our cross beam that's going to support our shelf. So we're going to measure across from the outside, no, from the inside, my bad, from the inside of this 2x4 right here, and we're going to go ahead and cut it a piece and do the same thing, tack it in. What is it?
71.
71. So on this cut, we definitely wanted it to be longer than shorter, because like I said earlier, you can't add wood, but you can remove wood. So we got it pretty snug on here, so now we're just going to decide what's going to be a good size shelf. Perfect. Good. 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 Now I'm going to make sure it's level between the 2 boards. Apple says it's good, so that's good enough for me. Realistically, you should have a bubble level. I just forgot to buy one. Alright guys, so we got the whole bottom shelf support all screwed in, and boy, did that really help make it a lot more sturdy for my application anyway. We're not doing anything super crazy on this. So now we're going to go on a little road trip, and we're going to go to Lowe's or Home Depot. I haven't really decided yet. And we're going to measure out the tops and bottoms, being I don't have a table saw or any 2x4 long enough at this point. We're going to have them cut it on their saw to fit the top and the bottom shelf. So let's go for a ride. Alright guys, so on this, we went ahead and measured left to right the full width and then divided it by 4 because we're going to put 3 supports, kind of like how we did for the top. You can kind of see right there and right there. So now we're going to go ahead and cut the supports for here. We attached the top, now we just need to attach the bottom shelf. We're getting there. It's looking good and it's feeling sturdy. Alright guys, that was the last screw. Crockett, it's mating season. Oh, don't get too close. She'll attack you.
She's a mad Sheila.
So I put my light lines. I don't even have to zoom in, but look at those unsightly lines. Those were the last screws. All right, now time for the ultimate test. No! Damn it!
You gotta turn it the other way. There we go.
Hey! Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, smash that like button, leave me a comment and let me know what you want to see. Stay tuned, I got more SSR videos coming very, very soon. Thanks for watching.